Conference. So last year on this day, we were celebrating in Berlin. Same for today. We are virtually celebrating from there as well. This is what I'm trying to put in my head, is to make sure that I'm celebrating with everyone. So as I said, I'm Ella Ininahazwe. I will be with you. I work as a Refugee College Guidance Counselor. I will be with my colleague Sadiki Bamperineza. Today, we are so happy to celebrate all the achievements we witness in our daily work. Well, we are so lucky to be connected with both partners and students. In this session, you will get the chance to know the common challenges faced by refugee students along the higher education journey. Furthermore, we will get to learn innovative pathways implemented as a response to those challenges. Now, I would love to welcome Sadiki to say some few words before we kick the session. Sadiki, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ella. Thank you for a good introduction. I'm very happy to be here and to see attendees coming in. It's very nice to have this session on the World Refugee Day, because we are thinking all about refugees and how we can support refugees. And you know, you cannot support refugees as good as you cannot help them to help themselves, and education is what helps refugees to support themselves as other people. So as we are co-moderating here, I'll be dealing with the chat box, and then Ella will be dealing with the chat here, like the audio chat and the video chat, and then we'll put efforts together to make sure that we are coordinating to make this better. Thank you, Ella.
Thank you so much, Sadiki. So as we are waiting others to join, those who are facing technical issues, I would love everyone to write in the chat box their names and the title and also the organization they're working for. If you are a student, write your name and the program you are attending as well, just to help us to know one in each other, so that we can know who is in the room and how we can interact with all those amazing people. Please write in the chat box your name, title, organization you work with. If you are a student, type your name and the program as well you are attending. So just take 1 minute. It will be taking only 1 minute. Welcome, Mohammed. Michael, yes. I see that we're having many people from different corners of the world. It's so exciting. We have someone from Barcelona, Berlin, wow, Mexico. This is so exciting. Nadia, welcome. Malawi, yes. Welcome, Lisa from Berlin. Oh, we have someone from US. This is going so exciting. Someone from Kenya. Someone working in Kakuma camp. Oh, from Egypt, welcome. Singapore, wow, this is so exciting. We're having many people. Welcome, Bello from Chad. Somaliland, Abdullah, welcome. From New York, welcome, Russia. Someone from Paris, working in Kiron, Leah, welcome. Someone from Turkey, yes. This is so exciting. Someone from Pakistan, Brazil, welcome. Someone from Rwanda, welcome. I'm in Rwanda as well. Good to see that there are someone from Rwanda as well. Good. Berlin. We are all virtually in Berlin as well. Welcome. Welcome, Benjamin from Kigali. He's my colleague as well. So we have 10 seconds remaining. So, well, okay, so thanks for everyone who just brought their names. It's good to see that we're having many people from all over the world. So as I mentioned last year on this day, we all agreed to reach 15% by 2030. So to discover what happened in this whole year, I would like to call our speaker to introduce themselves and the topic that we cover in the breakout session. So the breakout session are ready, but before we go there, I would love to hear to introduce them. So can we have Nadia and Emmanuel introducing themselves and just say in 1 minute what they will be doing?
Thank you so much, Ella. My name is Emmanuel Shindi, and I'm the GEM Employment Assistant and also a student at Southern New Hampshire University. I'm originally from the DRC, but currently I reside in Malawi, and that is where I'm doing my BA program in management. And in my role as the GEM Employment Assistant, I basically assist Nadia in helping students perform successfully in employment. I also collaborate with local partners and manage a team of editors who provide on-site support to students and also conduct some employment prep today. And I'm looking forward to learning from you and sharing some knowledge on the difficulties and the challenges that refugee students face from transitioning from college work and college and into employment. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Nadia. I'm a colleague of Emmanuel's at Southern New Hampshire University's Global Education Movement. I'm currently based in Washington, DC. And yeah, really looking forward to speaking to those of you that are joining our breakout session on after graduation transition to employment.
Okay, now I would love to call Emmanuel. Emmanuel? No, Dikonzo. Dikonzo.
Hello everyone, my name is Dikonzo and I'm from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, currently a refugee in Dzaleka, Malawi. I'm working with DSH Worldwide Learning as a diploma program coordinator. But today I'll be speaking on blended learning and online learning in the crisis and displacement. If you would like to learn more about and share your ideas, please join. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, can we hear from Ehab and Safir? Safir and Ehab.
Okay, go first. Yep. Yes, hello everyone. I'm Ihab Badawi. I'm Syrian living in Germany. I'm working with the Syrian Youth Assembly and with the Network of Trans.
Hello everyone. My name is Safia Ibrahim Khail. I'm originally from Afghanistan but living in Pakistan. And I'm also the member of UNHCR Global Youth Advisory Council and student leader in TRSN, Tertiary Refugee Students Network. So I'm looking forward to share our presentation experience with you. Join our group. You'll learn more about us.
So Angie will have me and Sadiki talking about the remote counseling and bridging program as well. So I assume you all have, your session, you have a link now. If not, write in the chat, the tech current team we have is. We will spend 30 minutes in the breakout session, and also we will have a reminder 5 minutes before the 30 minutes. And also note that we are recording this session, but for the breakout session, we're not going to record if I'm not wrong. So we will try our best to make sure that we have the session recorded for people who are not be able to attend. So if you have any question, write that in the chat. We will make sure we answer all the questions. And also we will be back in this main virtual room for the plenary sharing out session. Thank you, and I hope you're going to enjoy your session.
احنا ان شاء الله حاجه في البيت هذا. المرحله الاولى الفيج. الفيج يعني ما قلت لك. اي نصلح لك يعني. المرحله الثانيه الساتلايت مع البوتاجاز. المرحله الثالثه مع
Perfect. Now I can hear you.
Hi, Ella. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. It looks like we
Okay.
figured it out. Fabienne is happy, guys. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
So the floor is yours, Sadiki. So they started writing in the chat box about what they are proud and happy on this World Refugee Day. So now you can continue.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for joining this session. This session is about education crisis, like remote counseling and bridging programs, because me and Ella, we are Refugee College Guidance Counselors. We are doing a work of supporting refugee students, high school graduates to access higher education. So Fabienne, can I access the sharing, the screen sharing part? I can see the option.
Sadiki, you can do that on more. If you click here, you can do that. Or
Okay.
if you click on, yeah, or you can click.
The more option, but it's fine. You can share the screen for me.
Able as well. I can't as well. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I don't know why I can't do that. Can you start the presentation, and I will be trying to reach out to the tech team. If you can start,
fine.
it will be working.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Ella. As I was saying, this room is about remote counseling and bridging programs. And me and Ella, we work as Refugee College Guidance Counselors. We work in East Africa with Kepler and Southern New Hampshire University. We are using the grant from the College Board, and also we work most of times also with UNHCR to support the tertiary refugee student network, and also try to supporting students worldwide. And then I'm welcoming everyone to come here so that we bring together ideas about how we can support refugee students in terms of counseling and also helping them to excel in higher education. So I have a nice breaker for you. First, you are going to write in the chat room what you are celebrating on this World Refugee Day. And then Ella will be sharing what you're writing there.
Sadiki, can you
Yes,
see the
Ella.
arrow saying share? If you can click there, click on share.
Yes, yes, I am there now.
And do the screen, click on the screen. Perfect.
Okay, good. Let me know if there are something in the chat. What you are celebrating today on the World Refugee Day, reflecting on what you are celebrating.
Sadiki, they are done with that. If we can continue with the other point.
Okay. So after this, I don't see anything in the chat. Okay. Now we are going to start a new chat regarding the challenges faced by refugee secondary school or graduates, high school graduates in your community, or the students you've worked with, or how you observe the refugee students, like the refugee students who finished the high school. What are challenges do they face? And then I will discuss the next topic after. And this is also part of the things that
Am I the only one having issues to hear Sadiki, or it's everyone else?
Ella, can't you say anything in the chat?
I can hear both you and Sadiki.
Okay. Maybe I can repeat what I have said to make sure that you can hear me. I was saying that you can share in the chat room, the chat box, what you are celebrating today on the World Refugee Day. Just to share that there. Yeah, you type it there and then we'll be reading it from there.
Okay, so they'll out. So now,
Okay. And then after that, you share any experience from your observation, how you see the challenges that refugee students are facing after finishing the high school. Ella, if you find something in the chat, read it.
I can't see. Okay, perfect. Please, people, write the second point. Yes, they are writing now. I was unable to see the chat, but they're. So, Sadiki, we have.
Today is important for us as an organization because we motivate and engage more volunteers and people to protect and work for better condition of many migrants and refugees in Guyana, above all the economic hardships. Thank you very much. Is May who shared this, and we have also Christian Vargas saying today is important for us as an organization because we motivate and engage more volunteers and people to protect and work for better conditions of many migrants and refugees in Guyana. We try to create awareness this day. Thank you for this. And then if we can have other comments about how you see the challenges that refugee high school graduates are facing, maybe in that transition toward the higher education or transitioning to employment or any other issue that you see that refugee high school graduates are facing. Okay, so I think now we can proceed with the next point, and then people will be posting the charts. We will read them after, and then even we can write them and then keep them, and we can use the comments after. Ella, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sadiki. Please go on with the next one.
Good. So I'm going to give you a short overview of our work. Me and Ella, we work as Refugee College Guidance Counselors. What we do here, we do our work in East Africa, especially in Rwanda and Kenya. In Rwanda, we work with Kepler refugee students, and in Kenya, we work in Kakuma refugee camp to support refugee students there. And our main partners are we use the funds from the College Board from the United States. And then we work with Kepler and Southern New Hampshire Global Education Movement and UNHCR. And our work is like supporting high school graduates to access higher education opportunities through the preparation program. For example, here in Rwanda, we have Iteme is a Kinyarwanda word which means a bridge, bridging from high school to higher education or tertiary education. We have that program in Rwanda, and also in Kakuma refugee camp, we have Ngazi, which means like a ladder, taking like students from the lower level to the higher level, like climbing the ladder. And then here in Rwanda also, we support refugee students who are in higher education by providing online counseling, providing wraparound support in terms of career guidance, and also as we are in the COVID-19 period, we are trying to put them in a good and a well secured working environment by providing counseling, making sure that we are responding to their needs, we are available for any advice that they need, and also we make sure that we are advising them about how to do online internships and how they can keep working online during this COVID-19 pandemic. And our work also doesn't end from there, because we support refugee students who might be involved in international travel at this time because they want to attend maybe some conferences, to attend meetings abroad, and then we advise them about the international travels protocols. We make sure that they are able to travel. But our main goal is to make sure that we are contributing to the UNHCR's goal of having 15 by 2030 who are accessing higher education. As you know, today we only have a 3% of refugees accessing higher education. We want now to put our contribution to that, and then make sure that after these 10 years, we reach 15% by 2030. So if you have any question about what I presented about our work, also you can welcome the questions in the chat box, and Ella will be checking that. And then here we have some challenges that we are going to discuss in our group. And about the challenges, we will have like everyone can speak. And first, we are going to discuss challenges that refugee students are faced with, like any kind of challenge that refugee students are facing. And then after, we discuss ways in which counseling and supporting programs can help students overcome these challenges. So I would start to welcome some people who can share about the challenges that refugee students are facing. Yeah, thank you.
If they can unmute themselves and talk, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, I guess I'll just start off first. My name is Janan. I'm from Singapore. One of the things that I've realized, or working through our partners, one of them is a school based in Mombasa called Tana River Life Foundation. They may not be refugees per se, but one of the issues that is raised was that when these students graduate, especially when they come from a rural community, when they suddenly move into a higher education role and they are exposed to this whole new culture of life from the rural township to a massive city, they get very lost in the new things that they see, and they try to adapt and move into. So I think one of the things that they raised up was actually having what they call life lessons, where they train these students or teach these students what is actually going to happen beyond the scope of just the classroom. So that's just something that I thought would be something I could raise. Over to the next person.
Thank you very much for sharing this. Yeah. Others also can talk, please. Feel free to unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, I'm a student. I don't work with any organization. But then, okay, as I was studying, like I got an opportunity and I was given a scholarship. But then there are my friends back here in Kenya, where I live, where I'm a refugee. Oh, they are, okay, there are organizations where they give students scholarship. Like if you're primary, they give you a scholarship to go to high school. But then that organization, they only give one person in the family. So you find you're like 6 children, and one is like in class 8, because they usually finish up to class 8, so you can go to high school. And then there's another one, you're like, your younger sister is like in class 7 and she's going to like high school the next year. So she won't be able to get that scholarship because her eldest got the scholarship, and because they only give like a scholarship to only one person in the family. So you find that it's a challenge for the youngest, because you find that if they can't get any scholarship, they don't have the money to go to access the higher education. So they just quit school and go and start working. So like you find that's like a big challenge back here, like where we live. Like it's a very big challenge. Thank you.
Sharing, we're waiting for another one to share. And as a summary, like the first comment was about how refugee students come from rural areas and then adapting to the campus environment becomes difficult for them. And then we should support them with integration in their university life. And also the second comment was about taking one student from a family and then others, like it's like taking one person from the family so that like many families can share one opportunity. And this also shows like how organizations take new people, like a few students, because maybe of resources and other protocols. We will discuss this after hearing from the challenges. We are welcoming others too. Ella, if there is anything from the chat you can read, go ahead too.
So can we hear from Marie Nzioki? So I will be calling some people because it looks like we are called in this group. So Marie Nzioki, can you share with us? Please unmute yourself. Or...
myself, I work with Window International Kenya. We are implementing the Duffy Scholarship in Kenya. And we have, as one of our students has mentioned, due to resources, we only give scholarship per one person per family. And that has brought a lot of, it is a limitation on our end because we want to give as many as possible, but we cannot make it because of this particular limitation, because we believe every family will need a share of our support. That's why we limit one person per family. And it's only when this person exceeds from the program that we can consider giving another person in that particular family. So we find it is also a challenge to us because we can't provide to everyone who needs our support. So we implement the Duffy Scholarship for UNHCR in partnership with the UNHCR, which is funded by the German government. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Can we hear from Aziz?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to be with you here in Kiron and this day. I'm Aziz, a refugee from Yemen. I'm living in Malaysia. I'm actually a social entrepreneur and founder of e-learning platform. I'm not into the physical education things and stuff. Just here to share and learn from others, and we'll be happy to know if how can we empower these activities and all these movements to help the refugees. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Aziz. Can we hear from Dawood Ibrahim Abdallah? Unmute yourself, Dawood. Okay. Manal, can you go next, please?
Emmanuel, can you go next? May is handing a May El body from
Yes.
CNB. Yeah, you can speak. Yeah.
It's Mace elevated.
Okay, Mace. Okay.
When is none? Okay. So if I would like to think about like the challenges facing refugees in terms of education and try to classify per levels, I would start with like policy or the enabling environment. Is there like laws or policies in this that support refugees and support their equal chances to be educated? I guess someone should mute their mic.
Can you mute?
Okay, like as I mentioned, like at the policy level, is there any kind of
Can you mute? Or Fabian can help us with muting Omar.
Okay, so shall I proceed?
Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay, so again, at the policy level, if there is any laws that support like the equal opportunities and the right for refugees to be educated, also if the government can like do resource mobilization or support in a way that provide funding and other resources to those refugees to be educated, moving to the organizations itself, if like the universities or any kind of educational organizations that provide such kind of educational services, if they are willing to welcome refugee students, then like moving to the community itself, do they welcome refugee students among them? Do they treat them well? Is there any kind of stigma or discrimination against those refugees that affects their mental health and their social well-being? The family level, where like the family members are supportive and they can support that refugee person to keep working and keep studying and do hard work, whatever challenges he was facing. And then the person himself, his self-efficacy, his strength points, if they can cope with the stress, if they can work under stress. And above all, there's always like a factor of economic hardships facing refugees wherever they were in the world, to pursue like a higher education or to find the optimal educational chance to follow their dreams. Yeah, this is from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also there is one comment in the chat that's saying that challenges are enormous. Some face language issues, others cannot cope with the educational systems available abroad in their refugee countries. Moreover, a big number needs guidance in the first place to better know where they can seek education opportunities and above all the economic hardship. I think also it's like a summary of what Mais was saying, like even it's her comment. Okay. Anyone? I see that participants are muted. If there is someone who wants to speak, he can unmute himself. So now we can start to speak about the way we can solve these issues. If someone is having an innovative thing that we can share with us, we can use, for example, in solving this way of taking few number, for example, one student per family, or these issues of welcoming refugee students in the new system that they are not familiar with, and also any other issues that we didn't talk about, because we have now 5 minutes to be in the breakout rooms and we need to come up with some solutions before you go to combine with others. Thank you. And also putting comments in the chat is needed because everyone cannot speak at this time. You can also put the comments in the chat, but you can still raise up your hand and speak.
I just wanted to ask, when you mentioned about resources, about how you can only support one person per family, what resource are you talking about? Are you talking about access to materials, funding, time? Just wanted to check.
I think the other person from Window Trust Kenya talked about taking one person in their fee per family, I think it's because of lack of tuition to disperse, to contribute, to distribute in many students. It looks like it's a problem of funding. Yeah. If she is hearing me, she is listening, she can also add a comment to make this very clear.
Yeah, I can clarify that. We give one person per family to at least ensure equal distribution because of limited resources. And there are so many people who need the scholarship. So we do that to at least have equal distribution to every family. So that we don't just benefit one family and leave others without at least getting some scholarship to higher education.
Okay, that's clear. Jonah, if you have any solution about that or any comment, also you can come.
Sorry, I was speaking while my mic was muted. Sorry about that. Currently, we were looking at the topic is remote counseling and bridging programs. So are we drifting off topic about the resources? I just wanted to clarify before continuing. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you can come up with the solution of the issue, and then if it's possible for you to put it in the counseling context, it's better too. But also we need challenges like for the issue which is talked about. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to give
right in the chat.
Okay, I'm just going to give a really general brief of what we do. So what we do is that we have a offline digital education system, yeah? So think of it as a digital classroom that is highly portable. So everything on it is self-contained. If you're talking about resources such as educational materials, that is customizable. If you're talking about data usage, there is no data usage because everything is an intranet-based system that's meant to work offline. But we're talking about things such as counseling. This is where content that is preloaded, for example, we worked with some organizations that used yoga as a way of inner healing. So that is one of the things that we were looking at as well. So that is the counseling portion among others, but I'm just keeping it really short and brief.
I think now we are going back to the main room.
So just to wrap up, Sadiki, just to wrap up, I would love also to say that as Refugee College Guidance Counselor, me and Sadiki, we do also preparation programs where we have students who come from like areas, remote areas, to get used with the university like systems or the college system. And also when it comes to scholarship, we have bridging program where students are waiting, and we try to connect with other partners who are providing scholarship to make sure that students are ready or are able to enroll for those scholarship as well. We don't look into one box. We also make sure that we connect with other partners who are providing scholarship opportunity. That's how I can wrap up with an answer. But if you were interested to know more how we tackle all those issues, we have resources that we have been working, me and Sadiki. So write your email in our chat, and then we will reach out and share the resources that we use.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. We're trying to come back from all the breakout sessions. Sorry that our session took a little bit longer. So let's give some few seconds for people who are trying to reconnect again and to come back. So, and sorry for all the technical issues that you might have faced. So we're trying to make sure that we all getting each other, and then we're having like a productive meeting. So let's give some few seconds for people. I hope you all enjoyed your session. Now let's get the summary from people who led their breakout session. So can I hear from Nadia and Emmanuel? Can you give us a summary on how your small group was?
Yeah, thanks so much, Ella. This was fun. I've never done a webinar of this sort virtually. So it was, yeah, it was interesting. And tech issues aside, I think we did manage to have a good chat. We talked a little bit about the global education movement. So those of you that are not familiar, it's Southern New Hampshire University's refugee scholarship program. I see a bunch of our students on the call, including some of our students' kids. Hi, Precious. Your children look very adorable. And we talked about how to transition students from higher education and graduating from the university programs into the world of work. Our program is still a pilot. We rolled out in full only 2 years ago, so we are still very much exploring different opportunities and facing lots of different challenges as we go. A couple of the solutions that we did talk about, though, were sourcing opportunities for our students, convincing folks to take a chance and hire our students as interns that hopefully turn into employment opportunities, opening up different networking opportunities, both on site or in our new world virtually, and also building a brand so that one day people will hopefully know about the SNHU GEM students and want to hire them. And we don't have to do so much going out and telling people about our program and requesting for them to take a chance. But vice versa is the dream. And then also, in addition to sourcing opportunities for our students, also making sure that our students are ready to perform in those opportunities that are sourced. So having wraparound services like career advising, CV and cover letter prep, mock interview prep, lots and lots of workshops and programs on developing professionalism. And then our final kind of, at the moment, what we're calling our secret sauce to employment is the requirement for our students to undertake an internship during their studies. So halfway through their program, they're required to do a minimum of a 3-month internship, either on site or virtually, where they develop some of those professional skills needed for employment and then also start to build their CVs. I think that was it. Emmanuel, am I missing anything?
Yeah, you covered most of the things, but I really loved the idea from Louise when he talked about the mentorship program, helping students when it comes to working in marketing agencies. So really virtual mentorship is the new strategy I think that we should implement in the GEM program to assist the students. Peer-to-peer coaching is also very helpful. But at the moment right now, we're just trying to build a strong professional skills training program to help our students become good at writing resumes, CVs, and also passing in their mock interviews.
Great. And then final shameless plug, we are always looking for places to have our students intern at. So if your organization is looking for a wonderful, spirited bachelor's degree student to intern at your organization, please let me know. Emmanuel is going to throw in our emails to the chat box. So feel free to please reach out and we make it hopefully as easy as possible for you all employers. Thanks so much, Ella.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel and Nadia.
We forgot to throw in the TED Talk from Christina. If anybody
also,
wants to, yeah.
Yes, another shameless plug. We're gonna throw in a video. We just got announced as a TED Audacious Ideas recipient. So I'm gonna throw the link in the chat box for that as well. Thanks, Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you so much, Emmanuel and Nadia. Can we hear now from Dikonzo? Dikonzo, can you tell us more about what happened in your breakout session about the connected and the blended learning programs? Dikonzo,
thank you, thank you, Hela, for the floor. In my breakout session with the group, we really discussed amazing ideas. We talked about the benefits, the challenges, and how to improve blended and online learning. Okay, the first benefits that we have discussed, we talked about the wider reach. Members agreed that blended learning gives us an opportunity to have access to education everywhere in the world where we can be, especially in refugee camps, and you can study from home. And the second was access is very easy, easy access. This means that with blended learning, you do not have so many barriers to education as it is in the normal or the traditional schools. The next benefit was it facilitates inclusivity. Include everyone in education and everywhere you are, whether refugee or even poor people, those who cannot have access to education, they can have that opportunity to learn. And the ability to concentrate. As you are working from home, you can concentrate and do better on your studies than moving here and there, because at home you can manage your time easily and you can focus on your studies. And one member mentioned that it is very flexible, and this, I think it is related to accessibility. And about challenges, we discussed that connectivity, especially in refugee camp settings, connectivity and hardware is the problem. We see that people who want to learn, but they do not have phones, smartphones, they don't have computers, and internet is a problem. That is the biggest challenge that people face. The second is people do not really stay motivated in these programs because maybe they think that they are learning something that is not, that they can't see. They are not going to the physical building to be taught by a teacher in front, and some people are not really motivated. And there's also lack of access to technology like computers and phones, that, as I mentioned it in the first one. And a few changes to learn how to communicate. For example, in this blended learning, people do not have that chance to communicate a lot with people, with colleagues, and that makes them to be behind on this skill of communication. How to improve it? Then that was a very good discussion, and people suggested different ways on how we can improve and make blended learning effective. A member suggested that we need to improve or to enhance Google loans. For example, work with the government and allow people to be getting loans on Google so that they have easy access to internet for them to learn. The next was have pre-recorded content, which means instructors and professors have to record the content and make it available for people to download and also to have it offline. The next one was to have access to better connectivity, because it is online, and if we can have good internet, people will learn in good environment and also have access to hardware like computers and have enough smartphones for those who can have them. And a member suggested that a better way to make this learning very effective, we need to also advocate and have a dialogue with authorities in order to make blended learning as formal in our countries, to make it known so that people can know that, oh, blended learning is just learning like all other learning. If authorities can intervene, that will help and assist the awareness and also involvement in this type of learning. And another member suggested that we have to sensitize refugees on the importance of blended learning, because in our communities, refugee communities, people do not understand the importance of learning online. They think when you go to the center to learn, it's just spending time for nothing. If we can sensitize them and teach them the importance, this will push many people to like it and acquire it. Another member, the final one, was cooperation with other organizations. The members say that we need to be cooperating or working in partnership with other organizations like the IT, the internet providers, to help us be more effective on providing internet services and also computer services, computer materials to students for them to learn easily. That was the end of our discussions, and I think if there is a member who has something that I missed, they'll be able to add that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dikonzo, for the amazing session that you laid. So can you hear now from Safia and Ahab? Safia or Ahab, can you tell us more about the TRSN?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ella. Our group discussion was, our question was that how technology can be used to accelerate networking among refugee youth. We discussed that some of the members have shared the ideas, and one of the members just say that, and I think that's fact that COVID-19 make the situation more challenging for refugees, because in some refugee camp they didn't have access before, but in COVID, with the COVID-19, that situation become more challenging for them. And that's fact that technology is reaching everywhere, but the only issue, as one of the presenter also mentioned, is that the internet. Refugees don't have access to quality network and internet, and plus, I think it is the fact that normally refugees, they don't have that much resources and facilities to have like smartphones or latest laptop or anything that they can have online classes. So they're already facing that challenges to have access to quality education in this COVID-19, and hence they are challenging in problems. But we not just discuss the challenges, we also discuss some good things and good feedbacks we had from members. One member suggested that I think online meetings, the best example is right now, I think this meeting is that we are connecting with different organizations, with different people from different parts of the world. And we can also have online classes for those refugee students who don't have computer skills, or they don't know how to use the computer, how to conduct the online classes, or how to conduct the online meeting to get benefits from others, from those who know computer skills or languages. And then one member also suggests peer-to-peer support program, that I think there are some programs which is already been running by some organization, like online classes, peer-to-peer support programs, computer skills program. So they also suggest this is also one of the best way to connect with other young refugees and young people. And challenge, as I mentioned in the beginning, that the only thing is internet, and the only thing is that refugee youth, especially those who are living in camps, they don't have access to quality internet, and they don't have access to good internet facilities and like smartphones and technology and all that stuff. So if I miss anything, you can add it on that. Thank you, Ella.
I think you mentioned everything. Just one more thing as well. We heard from one participant from Syria right now, where he mentioned about how much important the all service provided from different organizations as online learning or English tests or other English language opportunity to learn. This is how much important and also helpful to support other refugees who living in different countries to be able to follow the international level of education with other countries.
Thank you so much, Safi and Ahab. So can we hear from Sadiki? Sadiki, can you tell us more about what you had in your small group?
Thank you very much, Ella. In my group, we were talking about counseling and also bridging programs to help refugee students access higher education. We presented about ITEME program in Rwanda, how it's supporting refugee students and some people from the host communities who are not able to access higher education or have had poor high school who are not able to compete for higher education, so that they learn the skills that they need to be able to compete in the admissions. And we talked also about Ngazi program in Kakuma refugee camp, which we were running with the college board. And we have also collected different challenges in different refugee contexts in terms of education. Especially we have talked about the new students who finish from high school who want to access higher education. And we saw that in a school in Mombasa, there is a problem of students who come from rural areas. For example, if a refugee comes from a refugee camp, he does not adapt easily to the system in the university. This is a challenge to them. Another challenge we talked about is how organizations have few funds, and they sometimes say that we can only take one person per family to make sure that we are distributing the opportunities into different families. And also talked about how e-learning is challenging in remote areas where internet is not working properly, or where even refugee students don't have devices to connect to the internet. And we came up with the solutions to these issues. I liked the comment from Jonan Love. He talked about that they have a totally offline digital education platform. Data is no use and the material is preloaded, and this can it can work offline and no issue with the materials, and the students can use that. I don't know that technology, how it works, but I think the developers can learn from him, and also he can give his email, and people can contact him to learn more about that. We can use it in the remote area because, for example, here in the courses offline, and we also talked about college counseling for the refugee students who finished the high school, because they need people who have gone through the process, who have been maybe refugees who were available, who are available for refugee students, to show them, really, me, I did this to be there, and then they can learn from their experiences. And that's what we're doing with Ella, because we take refugee students to talk to other refugee students. We talk to them because even we have a refugee background, we are refugees. We show them how we pass through the admission process, and also for their adaptability and also feeling like you are welcome to the university. We suggested having the college counselors again to help them with integration, learning the language, and also helping them to adapt to the life in the university. Yeah, and we have also resources that we have developed, as Ella talked about it. We have different resources, for example, for one-on-one advising, tips for refugee students who are coming from a refugee camp, are not feeling at ease in the new life at campus. Refugee students who have issues with traveling abroad because they're coming from a place where it's their first time to travel, they are worried, or how to help them to learn more about international travels, how to apply for the scholarships. We have these resources with us, and those who want the resources, you can drop your email in the chat box, and then we can share the resources with you so that you use the resource in your context too. Thank you very much. Era, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sadiki, for the amazing summary. So now I would love to welcome all the questions. We are receiving many comments, many questions in the chat, and I love the way people are responding to questions and to different concerns presented in the chat. Please now let's have some people to talk on the floor. I would love to welcome now question or any opinion that you have around all the 4 small groups that we had. Please, I won't need to cold call, so I hope that people will join. Please unmute yourself and also your video.
Cedric Mikal has already requested to speak.
Well, yes, I would like just to talk about the topic. So to understand what I'm about to tell you, you must first know and understand that to understand what I'm about to tell you, you must first know and understand that we all actually face the same issue of the coronavirus pandemic, and this has negatively affected many countries around the world, including refugee education, which is actually down. So for young refugees here in Dzaleka, most of them, they have low education because of many reasons, and most of them have fled genocide, for example, wars and violence in Rwanda, Burundi, Ethiopia, Somalia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. So now you understand that for refugee children, getting an education can be a challenge under normal circumstances. As you know, COVID-19 spreads around the world, and it has become now very difficult because all the private and public schools, including universities, have been closed to prevent the spread of the virus, among others. And in general, I think that school can save or keep refugees out of gangs and other dangerous practices. Now, which means that receiving the education can lead to developing social skills, having playtime, and learning languages, for example. It's also benefit for refugee students. But unfortunately, everything is totally stopped because the education for refugees is now limited. All those young people need supports on their education, and they may still be educated in this lifetime because nothing is truly late unless one is dead. And the only thing that I wish could help and save the refugee's life is the education. Thank you.
In my group, we talked about the technology and its effects on the accessing to the education. Like the coronavirus pandemic have affected millions of students around the world, and now people are trying to find solutions for this problem. So if we want to think, what about those countries like in the Middle East, like Syria, Yemen, Libya, which were affected from war for years? A lot of refugees and students are seeking for education, but they can't find it. Maybe not the majority of the migrants can, or the refugees can find the technology that can access them to the internet or online education. But in the second hand, there are a group or a number of refugees who have this accessibility, and we should give them the opportunity to seek forward for their goals through the online education.
Thank you. Serge, you can step in. I saw that you want to ask a question. Serge?
Yeah, Thank you very much for Yeah, I'm Sage from Zaleka Refugee Camp. I'm a student at GRS DIP program Connection. Then I have got a question. Of course, I've heard a lot of things about this problem of COVID-19 on refugee education, but and we have got also some most of people they discuss more about challenges that the refugees are facing in the camp. And so what are the means or ways that the different organizations have come up to support and to overcome these challenges? Because of course we don't know when this problem of COVID-19 is going to end, and maybe it's going to take again 3 or 4 months, we don't know. But if this problem persists, what are the means, what are the ways that have been put in place so that the refugees can access education on this time? Yeah, thank you very much. That was my question.
Thank you so much, sir. And for people who are not speaking, if you can try to unmute yourself, that would be awesome and helpful. Maureen, would you mind responding to sir's question if you were around, or if anyone else have an answer? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Serge. I'm working in the education section for UNHCR, and we are working the COVID-19 response and the question on how to overcome the challenges. So I think there's a lot of work going on. It really depends on country by country because each situation is different. I think where we are working on right now is the back to school campaign, because now we know in some countries slowly schools start to reopen, but we have to make sure that they are reopening in a safe way. So a lot of work is going on, for example, in setting up a WASH, like water, hygiene, sanitation, additional opportunities within schools, but also making sure that there's a rotation system, that classes are not overcrowded, which we know is often a challenge already, but we still have to practice distancing. So we need to find a way that not all children are coming back at the same time. Then, of course, teachers need to be prepared, school administrations needs to be prepared, and there still very likely has to be a mix of being at school, but at the same time continue studying at home. And then in those countries where the lockdown continues, I think a lot of work is going into facilitating distant learning. And what we have to do is that we know that in a lot of countries online learning is not possible because there's very low connectivity, and it's not a way, and people don't have the devices. So often it's done via radio, for example, or via TV. So in Burkina Faso, we have an example where radios are distributed so that children can follow classes via the radio. We have other countries where the material is sent via mail, so that children are receiving papers or books by mail and can study at home. So this is then somehow a way to compensate for missing out of classes. But you are right, there are a lot of challenges to overcome, and I think our biggest concern is that refugees are already facing a lot of challenges in education, and we are worried that in the back to school campaign, a lot will dropping out, especially girls, because they are often at risk of dropping out anyway, and now the risk has increased.
Thank you, Maureen. Adieu, you can step in. I saw that you would love to say something. Adieu. Adieu.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Adieu. I'm a DAPI scholar. So I just have a comment, and that is, we know very well that COVID-19 pandemic has put nations across the world into a task like never before, but it shouldn't be that big barrier to us as students. I would just like to comment about the Kenyan side, because this is where I am. I've just seen, like, with the Kenyan government, they are trying so hard to make sure that the students are still learning at home. So actually they provide us with a program. The classes are done online, that is by radio for those one in the camp. And with the Window Trust Kenya, they are offering data, that is the MBs, to the universities students. So actually, like each and every day, they send us MBs, that is the data. They are trying to collaborate with the local companies, communication companies in Kenya, so that at least by the end of the day, we are somewhere, we are not left behind with the education. So I will just suggest if the other countries actually can adapt with what Kenyan government is trying to do, and the UNHCR Kenya, and with the Window Trust Kenya. I just find out that Uganda is also doing it, like they are doing education through radios, and as well as some are using WhatsApp for the parents, for those who cannot able to afford phones. So you cannot go for a household of more than 10 people and not getting a one phone. So at least per household, someone is having a phone, a smartphone, and that is what they're using for the schooling, like 10 people per school. Yeah.
Henry, thank you,
Yeah.
Adieu. Can we hear from Henry Yatich? You would love to say something? Henry Yatich?
Thank you, Nat. Thank you. I think one of my comments is that other than working at Mount Kenya University as Director of Innovative Learning Approaches for the online programs, I've had conversation with some of the staff from Kiron, and one of the things that has featured in one of my recent studies is that are we able to also recognize some of the refugees who come to the camps with prior skills and prior training, so that we can have a mechanism of recognizing their prior learning, and we can have mechanisms either collaboratively with local institutions so that those prior learning skills can be recognized for them, other than them accessing just education. Yet we know that some of them go to these camps with previous experiences in with different skills and abilities.
Thank you. I would love to hear someone from Kiron. Can someone from Kiron respond to Henry's question? If we can get someone from Kiron. Okay. Okay, so if we are still waiting for someone from Kiron, we can hear from Jacques Mauricio.
Luis from Kiron is available to speak.
Yes, hi. I would love to answer, but my internet connection is bad, and I didn't fully get Henry's question.
Okay,
Jacques?
my
Hello.
question is that
Okay.
we have
Hello.
refugees who come to these camps, but they have skills from that was acquired from different areas or from prior learning. And when they come to these camps, do we have mechanisms, rather either from Kiron or any other refugee-related organization, that can be able to recognize these skills that these people have, so that they can be given either a certification, so that they can go to the field, or maybe even to local industries, or even when they go back to their homes, they have this certification that they have this expertise in this field, and therefore they can be able to be absorbed.
Thank you for repeating it for me, Henry. Yeah, very good question. So I work in Berlin headquarters, so you know everything about the camp situation that I don't know. However, we've looked into this topic of recognizing prior education. There are organizations who are doing that, who are working with refugees. I hear some people talking, who are working with trying to recognize what has been learned before and trying to translate that to the new host community context. Kiron is not providing the service, but I think we have a lot of connections to organizations who do, And I think you're really right, Henry. We should put that onto our campus, make it really easy for you to find where are options to connect to those organizations that help you recognize what you have done before. What we are offering is new learnings, new skill boosters, new courses. And we hope we make it very easy for you to skip the classes that you already know and still get a certificate for the whole program. So I encourage everyone to, even if you have, like, let's say you have experience in computer science and you see a course on Kiron campus about computer science, go in there, do the course, go really quickly through the tests so you can get at the end a certificate from Kiron that shows to the world that you know this, and that you can, if you know this topic already, just get through the course really quickly and get your certificate for that. I hope that's what we can provide to you.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Jacques Morisho, and I've got a question. And my question goes like this. I've heard so many interventions, people talking about the pandemic, the impact of this COVID-19. So my question goes like, first of all, let me introduce myself. And cool. So this, how we, as primary school teacher, most of these kids, they don't even know how to use their phones. They don't even this pandemic, it has been a challenge. It has been a challenge. So I don't know, and we are asking, we are trying to see what can we do in order to fix this. What can we do as a primary school teacher? And also I remember in my class, we have got like more than 100 learners. And when the school will reopen, so I don't know how are we going to handle this, because following the measure, following the instructions of this, the social distancing, how are we going to manage this? It seems like when the class will be opened, it will be like, instead of 100 learners, there will be like 50, there will be like 40 because of the social distancing. So how can we handle this? I'm a primary school teacher. I'm teaching in grade 1, standard 1. Thank you.
So thank you so much. I'm sorry, we are running out of the time and we need to finish on time, but I wanted to make sure that you all know that all your questions, they are going to be posted on our live stream. It's on Facebook. So if you have any question or any comment, please feel free to leave them. So we will be sharing them. They will be live on stream, and people in charge, they will try to respond to questions. And if you can be more detailed, you can also send the question to the person. You can say this question goes to Ella, this question goes to Kiron, for example. So thank you so much. Now I would love to welcome Marin. I'm sorry, Jonan. So I need to continue with the program. So Marin, I would love you to do with the close remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Ella. And I was just typing into the chat box that UNESCO has issued or like adopted a big global convention on recognition for higher education. So the question that has been raised is very important, and this global convention will not solve all the problems, but at least it's a policy framework that exists now for recognizing or encouraging states to recognize higher education qualification, because it's at the end, it's not an NGO that can do that. It has to be a government authority, because as also had been mentioned in the chat box, recognizing skills is a very important task, and there's a lot of, we have to assure that those skills that are recognized, that the process is transparent, and that sort of the skill that you will receive as an accredited skill is an acquired skill, so that there's no fake or no cheating happening. So that's the reason why it's not anybody who can just do it. It's normally a state authority, sometimes under Ministry of Education or Ministry of Higher Education doing so. So I would encourage you to learn about the process on your country level and sort of see how that can be sort of done. I know that a lot of that information is often not available and often very complicated, but sometimes universities know very well how this process has to be done. But now, just to close the session, I really would like to thank, first of all, Ella and Sadiki for putting this session together. I think it's very impressive what you have done. We had over 50 participants here in the room and from all over the world, and I'm really proud of having an entire session led by refugees themselves. And I think through the breakout session, we really had lively discussion. And I also, for my first time, experienced the workshop online, and it was really interactive. And I think on that front, I really have learned a lot. So really, congratulations for that. Also, the big thank you to Kiron for the Amplify Now conference. I think you have supported us remarkably to celebrate the World Refugee Day virtually, and I think we are also learning a lot from your skills in terms of online connections that we can use all now in this COVID-19 pandemic. And this is maybe my last word on World Refugee Day this year. It's a special year, 2020, for us. We have the highest number of displaced persons ever. So we have in total 79.5 million people who are forced to be displaced. It's around 1% of the world's population, so the number had never been higher. Plus, we are facing a global pandemic, which put a lot of lives for refugees and displaced persons at risk because they had been already vulnerable. But I think maybe this COVID-19 pandemic also can give an opportunity, because a lot of people are facing situations that refugees are facing every day. We are facing situation in terms of restriction of movement. We are facing isolation. We are facing anxiety. We don't know what we're going to happen the next day. And I hope that this collective global experience will possibly increase compassion and empathy and understanding towards displaced population. And I think especially what we also have seen is that a lot of refugees are contributing to the COVID-19 response, and a lot of them I know are here in the call, like people like Adieu from Kenya, who had produced masks and soaps and has distributing them. And I've seen Bello from Chad, who has led a hygiene campaign in the capital of Chad with vulnerable families. Ella and Sadiki, who are supporting students to continue their learning. And I can continue to add those stories, but we do know that a lot of refugees are really in the forefront of the response, and we can actually learn a lot from them in terms of resilience and how to deal with crisis, because that's something that you know very well, and that what we are now facing in basically in a day-to-day modus. So I really want to thank you, and I've learned a lot, and I hope we can sort of continue this type of virtual exchange. I think it's great to be connected in that way, and from my side I learned a lot. And now back to you, Ella and Sadiki, for closing.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Marin, for giving us also the opportunity to be part of this huge event, and Karen also, to all participants who attended this event and who contributed. Thank you so much. Please feel free to continue to follow us on the Face live stream, and also we left all our emails, mine and Sadiki. So if you need our resources, if you need any information, or you have questions, please feel free to reach out. And as a way of closing, happy World Refugee Day to everyone who's doing a lot to make sure that refugee students are accessing tertiary opportunities. Sadiki, you can say also goodbye.
Yeah, it was awesome to be here looking at everyone participating. You are supporting refugees to access higher education. You are eager to learn more, to bring best practices. It looks like you are not looking at the problem as indifferent people, but you are acting and sharing your practices with others to make sure that we are sharing this knowledge and able to help refugees accessing higher education. This was my perfect act and action to do on the World Refugee Day. Thank you very much to everyone, and we love to have many sessions like this in the future for sharing this. Thank you. Have a good night and a nice World Refugee Day.
Thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you everyone for being here.
Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Yes, thank you everybody. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was amazing. Thank you guys.
I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you once again.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
There's no way to